Well, how you doing? We're back. Genuinely losing track of whether or not it's still the same night anymore. I feel like a day might have passed when I went to the doctor. What? Okay, my previous theory about them being robots seems to be about right, or something's going on here. They're augmented, they're all cyberpunky, like, this person makes noises. Yeah, you can definitely tell that it's whenever Junebug starts walking. It's definitely her. So Junebug is making whirring noises. Truck sounds like it's running a little rough there. Better keep an eye on it. We're all running a little rough these days. Well, that's you and me anyway. Closer to the finish than the start. Seems it gets a little bumpier as you go. Ha! We met a friend of yours named Lula. Oh, yeah, I should have guessed you would. Did she say anything about me? She said you used to be lovers. Oh, well, I guess that was a long time ago. Do you have any games on your computer? Hey, you know what? I might. My niece works nights at the hospital. She swung by for her lunch break an hour or two ago. She's kind of a... She doesn't talk a whole lot, but I like her company. I heard her typing away in there. You might take a look. Better get going. Our squad just keeps growing. Conway taps a key, waking the computer from its reverie. Games. Directory listing for games. Psychotherapist. Sports medicine professional 1973. Psychotherapist? Loading psychotherapist. Ready. Run. I am the psychotherapist. Please describe your problems. I'm thinking of drinking again. Do you believe it is normal to be thinking of drinking again? For people like me, it is. That's quite interesting. I'd like to try an exercise now. Please, close your eyes, and ask another person to read the following text aloud. It's summer. You're sitting in a very long hall, on a backless stool. The seat is upholstered in fake leather, slick with condensation. You shift your weight uncomfortably. At the other end of a very long hall, a ceiling fan beats out the rhythm of seconds. The air in the very long hall is still. You need a shave. You feel 3 rough whiskers curled over your upper lip. You shift your weight on the slick leather seat and exhale gently to displace the 3 rough whiskers curled over your upper lip. The very long hall is silent, except for the ceiling fan beating out the rhythm of seconds, and the noise of your breath as you exhale gently to displace the 3 rough whiskers curled over your upper lip. Your tongue is burned. Perhaps you drank some coffee too quickly within the last several days. Your mouth is dry, and the lights are slowly dimming. Oh, it says I'm not supposed to read this part out loud. Okay, it's over. I wonder what message it sent to Shannon. It's like, find his flask and puncture it. Like what seditious shit is the psychotherapist telling just Shannon? Play sports medicine professional 1973. Ready, run. February 1973. Status, senior, GPA 3.8. Affect, bored. Study, hit the bar, or explore the forest. Forest. It's raining. Mud is everywhere on the wings of owls and jowls of stray dogs. Borrowing shelter with other mammals and then waking up late, damp and cold, waiting for the bus with other mammals. The subtle flickering effect is really trippy, by the way. Status, hiker. My status changed, that's funny. I'm still bored. You can just explore the forest again. Seasonably cold, and the mouth of the cave is surrounded by small, broken sticks from a recent storm. If they weren't so damp, or spread so thin and unevenly, they'd be a fire hazard. Maybe if they were all piled up in a cave to dry for a few weeks, they'd spark and smoke the bats out. Particular thought process you've latched onto there. Status, spelunker, because we're in a cave now. Explore the forest. Just gonna stop being a sports person altogether. Thick tree coverage soaks up every vapor of light pollution. The skies are uncomplicated, black and white, mumbling stars. An owl decimates a caravan of mice. Status, druid! It's time to make a decision. Graduate, hitchhike across country, or live in a tree. Just go live in a tree, I'm a druid now. It's a good tree. Strong. The branches are bare. Sleep upright. Brush teeth with dew and moss. Makes sense. For once. Score, druid. That's a score, apparently. What a choice. Messages. Help desk. And accounts consolidated. Are these the same ones from before? That was like a couple months ago, so it's a little hard to remember actually. Dear Mr. Wheattree, the articles you've requested have been retrieved from storage and are ready for examination. They will be held at your convenience at the primary branch till the end of the month. You may visit us between sundown and sunrise at our night facility. We are an easy 3 gestures from the bureau. Clockwise. Oh. Articles. These have, okay. So, bureau. Clockwise anchor. CC Whirlpool. And then CW again. My notes are getting convoluted and messy because I'm using one piece of paper for both Anachronox and Kentucky Route Zero. I wasn't really anticipating Kentucky Route Zero notes, but here we are. Regards. Well, I want to check that place out now. Gotta keep that in mind for later. Accounts consolidated. I wonder if I read that email before, but just didn't have context for it. Account resolution options, urgent. Dear Echos Oils, this is an urgent automated message regarding your overdue account. Current account status is dire. New resolution options are available for you in one of our in-person account resolution centers. To ensure your account is resolved without interruption, visit us at your convenience from the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces. Again. Okay, so Bureau. Clockwise Scarecrow. Then counterclockwise to the Bat Feeder. And then clockwise. It's funny. I wonder if I read these at the time and had, like, no context for Route Zero and the bizarreness of how it works, so I just bounced off me of, like, what is this nonsense? Like, it does totally sound like... It does kind of just sound like convoluted local directions, like, go to the Scarecrow, then the Bat Feeder. So when you hear these directions without the context of the Route Zero, you're just like, okay, they're just weird directions. It's weird they're being called clockwise and counterclockwise. You're supposed to say left and right, but I mean, it's you might not even latch onto that at the times. So maybe you would just go right past it. But now suddenly I'm like, whoa, these are places I can visit. Once I'm back in the really specific place again. So that's it, huh? Honestly, I just thought that if we were going to come here, we'd do more to actually maintain our vehicle. Just because it's kind of in trouble here. It is having trouble running. I imagine we might need gas because we've been doing stuff all... Yeah, he's just got that leg now. That's tripping me out. It is really remarkable how this game just is sort of quietly escalating as you play it. You've got a skeleton leg, you've got like robot punk rockers walking around with you. There's an interdimensional space run by the Bureau. We've got a giant eagle flying around. The convenience store is just a tiny booth in the middle of a lot that must have once been an active gas station. The light in the booth is on. Approach the window. The light of the booth is big enough for a card table, 2 chairs, and a few plastic crates filled with snacks and a warm Coke. 2 men shuffle plastic dominoes across the table. Look for a door. He finds a sliding service window on the far side of the booth. The kind that can slide in and out of the booth without allowing anyone to reach in and make a grab at the cash register. Knock on the window. Conway wraps his knuckles on the service window. One of the men sends his partner an exasperated glance, then returns his attention to the game. Pass in some money? Conway puts a few dollars through the service window. One of the men lets out a vexed sigh. Without standing, or turning his eyes away from the game, he reaches into a plastic crate and retrieves a small blue bag, distractedly pushing it through the service window. Chips? Or something? The bag is illustrated with a cartoon drawing of an avocado, but the nutritional data suggests that it's pretty sugary. The expiration date has been worn away. They just want you to go away. Hey, hang on a minute. My shit's turned off. How dare you? There we go. What was that? Looks like a fire. Marquez farmhouse. The farmhouse is silent and empty. The barn's still gone, so is the cave. A few horses graze in the empty field. Clockworks. A faux rustic wooden sign hangs by a chain above the door. Glasgow Clockworks. Carved in a fanciful typeface, then set with what looks like brass or colored plastic. The windows are darkened, too crowded with antique clocks to make out the interior. A small metal sign bolted to the building's alley reads GTS stop number 5. 5:30, 7:15, 8:45, 10:15, 12:15. Then several more numbers or words, worn illegible by rain. 3 people stand under the sign. A young man with a newspaper, a young woman scribbling anxiously in a leather-bound journal, and an older woman whose face is shadowed by a wide-brimmed hat. Examine the sign. It's impossible to tell how late the bus runs. Are these people just waiting? Could they have missed the last bus? Offer someone a ride? To the older woman? Conway offers a ride to the woman in the hat. The old woman grumbles to herself as she climbs into the truck. Her name's Linda. She lives near the artificial limb factory, but she can't be bothered for specifics. Oh. Well, now we've got another passenger. Shit, I've suddenly got a responsibility. I gotta find this artificial limb factory. I feel like I've been there before. This one keeps fading in and out of existence as I drive by. It doesn't seem particularly observable. Shit. She won't give me specifics. Can I ask anybody? I don't want to just ignore her and just drive away with an old lady in my vehicle and just wander off and do whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, where is this artificial limb factory? A blanket is spread in the grass just off the road. It would make a reasonable spot for a picnic, sheltered in the daytime by a coffee tree. Walk to the picnic spread. Shannon walks over to the picnic spread. 5 places are set. 1 plate is piled with ham, another with apples. Examine the ham. Shannon pushes a piece of ham with a stick. It definitely isn't ham. Maybe felt, dyed in embroidered fabric. Some kind of toy ham. Someone must have been here, playing at a picnic. The supplies are weathered. Hard to tell how long ago that happened. It's a pretend picnic. Why not, huh? It's next level how many random things they're just are kind of hiding around everywhere. God, have I been to the artificial limb factory in this game? Or am I thinking of a different game entirely? The roads feel intentionally designed to make it feel almost impossible. Oh, Linda's home. It feels almost impossible to actively be able to find everything. It's hard to systematically search the area because the roads are chaotic. Linda doesn't care for the public transportation in this area. The buses are too small. In fact, they hardly qualify. Linda worked for 25 years as a city planner in Knoxville, so she knows. But it's not her place to say, really. But if she were asked, if anyone were to ask, she'd start with public transportation. It's the pride of a civil society. It's a place as much as a city center. It ought to be funded as such. Sure, you could spend thousands on some concrete fountain, some scene of antiquity, something really impressive. But what does that do for a polis? Who meets at a fountain to exchange ideas? Drug dealers, that's who. And maniacs. Linda meets people on the bus, or at the bus stop. That's where things get done. In Mexico City, or Montreal, or New York, the trains are so dependable that they're practically a stable place themselves. That's at least as reliable a place as... Linda lives here, with her daughter and son-in-law, in that squat, gray building on the left. She owns the house, but her room's in the basement of her own house. Life is suffering, as they say. Why is that? Why does she live in the basement of her own house? How'd she get conned into that one, huh? Yeah, the petting zoo is drawn on the map, so I can just keep track of that. But yeah, landmarks only show up when you're near them, but I feel like we're slowly filling in more and more landmarks. Can I deliver everyone to their spots? Now I'm weirdly on a mission. Offer the ride to the younger woman. She's no longer the younger woman, she's just the only woman. Wait, listen, listen to the glass. Conway rests his head against the window and closes his eyes. It feels cool. His breath fogs the glass like September. It was fall when he met Lysette. School days. Neither of them were very good students. They'd cut out early and spend the afternoons in darkened bars. Sometimes she'd sing, or he'd pick up bottles, and the staff would pretend they were old enough to be there. Conway and Lysette would pretend too. Then he got a long-haul job, lost it on the road, and took too long coming home. He took a job from a wiry, irritable roofer named Ira. Ira brought him home to meet his wife and son, and there she was. Conway kept his mouth shut, not out of respect but out of habit. Peer into the window. It's hard to tell where the curtain's shadows end and the dusky clock silhouettes begin. Clock silhouettes. Oh, because it was the clockwork's place. Offer a ride to the younger woman. Conway offers a ride to the woman with the journal. The young woman accepts, cautiously. Her name is Patty. She lives near the state park, a short drive west of the Marquez farmhouse on Route 70. I have something to go out there. Yeah, that's the farmhouse right there. Ooh. What? Were these roads here before? Railroad track. There's secret roads. This isolated stretch of railroad track is overgrown with wildflowers. It spans only a few hundred yards and is bracketed on each side by a pile of rotting wooden ties. The only visible stop on the railway is a squat wooden station building, brightly lit from within. Obviously we're going in. Conway and Ezra enter the building. The station interior is warm, soft orange light from a few antique fixtures, worn but finished wood floors and counters, and a compact space heater left conspicuously in the middle of the room. Train memorabilia hangs from racks on the wall. A model steam engine pulls boxcars steadily along the track, threaded through the rafters. A teenager in a kitschy engineer's cap is slumped behind a cash register, asleep. Examine the train. Ezra strains to examine the steam engine. It's too high up to get a good look at. Oh, I'm playing as Ezra. Climb higher. Ezra climbs a pile of train-related jigsaw puzzles. It takes a few goes and a bit of engineering, but he's able to get within several feet of the rafters. From there, it's a matter of faith and athleticism. The view from the rafters is not much different. Piles of boxed trains and train memorabilia. The clerk asleep behind the desk. Conway looking awkwardly around the room and occasionally scratching the nape of his neck. Does he know he does that? Is it just one of those things he does? Like the way Ezra's mother half sings hello and goodbye. It always sounds like a joke, or a question, when she does it. Conway scratching his neck seems like a question too. Are we really here? Maybe. Or maybe, is this it? The train isn't very interesting up close. After all, it's only a toy. Ah. I really like this music. Kind of adds to the wandering. It's got those loose, sort of echoing chords. It definitely reminds me of the theme song of, I think, Silent Hill 2 a little bit. Patty has an idea for a new kind of chair. Not really the whole chair, just the part of the chair that lets you adjust the height or the tilt. It could be adapted to fit almost any chair design, and it doesn't take up much space. Could be flat packed even. It's really a much more reliable design in the long term. Using the current crop of seat adjustment mechanisms, you're always running the risk of pinching your fingers fumbling around under your chair. Not so with Patty's new design. But it's not cheap to give a prototype fabricated for such a thing. Too many moving parts. That much is unavoidable. Patty's been doing some freelance technical writing to pay the bills, and setting aside as much as she can towards the project. She calls it the project when talking to friends and family, and by now everyone knows what she means. In school, she was easily distracted. Her teachers never thought she'd really command her full potential, and so on. But it won't be long now. Patty's staying here, in that ugly amber bungalow. Again, it's only temporary. Ah. Man, I've been spending my whole life in temporary houses. Let me know how that goes for you. There's nothing more permanent than temporary. I'm preemptively, concerned about chairs when that came up in a game like this that's always slightly creepy. Because I'm currently reading, what is it called? I can't remember the name right now. Venus something. The new Junji Ito book came out this year. And it has this... There's just like one that comes out like every 8 months or so, I think. It's got this chair story that, concerning. Read that one last night. And, so when chairs came up, I'm like, is this gonna get weird? Is this gonna get weird? It didn't really, but my mind was ready. Offer a ride to the man. The man accepts gratefully. His name is Keith. He lives a ways west. Yes, I do. About as west as you can get, honestly, without going into the ocean. Not far from the Museum of Dwellings, just across South 65. Haha. Well, I know where the Museum of Dwellings is. That's a recent occurrence. I don't remember the rest of his directions. I'm just gonna drive around the Museum of Dwellings a bit. I can't go up here? No. These roads aren't traversable. Nope, it's on this side of the road. Keith is an auto claims adjuster now. He went to University of Indianapolis, mathematics with a minor in sports marketing. Halfway through his junior year in college, Keith's boyfriend ran away with an older woman. His grades fell off. He stopped shaving. His friends were concerned and suggested he take a semester off to refocus himself. He sold his car. Spent 3 months traveling the country by Greyhound bus. Keith found himself in Butte, Montana, in the dead of winter. It's funny because I've got people that have been talking about going to Montana. His rough beard stained with gas station coffee. His eyes clouded with travel. He bought a second coat at a thrift store, then settled onto a stool in a tavern by the cemetery. Keith sipped a light beer and lost himself in a photo on the wall, a portrait of Evil Knievel. Knievel looked tired. More than tired. Spent. Drained. Old. but Keith could have sworn those murky, bloodshot eyes were looking right into his soul, as if to tell him. Keith's apartment is here, on the left. The salmon-colored building. That's his apartment, with the blue and white star decals stuck in the window. Putting American star decals in your window? They give us these stories. It's like they're in the middle of telling us a story and talking, and then that gets interrupted when they arrive at the destination, which makes sense. But the way that the stories are told, they're like these bizarre descriptions of their physical descriptions. Like it's like a narrator's description, the kind of way that people don't talk. So it's surprising when that story gets interrupted by us arriving. I almost wonder if, like, he's telling us his story, and then my apparently hallucinogenic side effects of my drugs are taking over, perhaps, and that's resulting in me imagining the scene in much greater detail. Bet you didn't think we could spend a whole extra episode without arriving as the entertainment, but I did it. No wonder they were waiting so long for us to arrive.